So, this last trip, I could say, was definitely grand. It was a lot more grand than the inside of this van. And so, I'm going to give a review about Grand Teton National Park. Um, the Tetons are bumpy. They are really cool when it's storming because they kind of like peek in and out of the clouds. Um, I don't think I saw much lightning, but seeing the clouds like late at night and early in the morning with sunset and sunrise is just like, and I love clouds to begin with. So storm clouds through the mountains was awesome. I did a loop of like Death Canyon, and I think Open Canyon is part of that loop, and one other canyon. I can't remember, Granite Canyon. So I went all through there. Went over Mount Hunt Pass. Went over Death Canyon Shelf. Checked that out for a bit. Didn't really camp up there. I just wanted to go see it. So I'd made an extra trip to go there. But what I saw a lot of, other than awesome views through all those places, which I'll get to, were I saw 4 black bear. That's quite a bit in 4 days. They were all really nice bears. I saw 2 moose. One was a female. She was in the water, waiting, cooling off, even though it was pretty cool. I don't know what she was thinking. And then there was a big bull that was right along the trail, and I had to scooch around him because he was getting agitated, and I could tell. There were lots of marmots. One thing I did learn, I'm at Yellowstone now. They told me this at Yellowstone, but one thing I learned was they live in like big families, kind of like prairie dogs do, but they're in like higher elevations, so they're like rocky prairie dogs basically. And they have another name. It's something like it's a funny name. I call them marmots. But one thing I did learn about marmots is that they all have like their own rock. Even though they're in big families, they all have their own rock that they use as like their bathroom. So that was, I don't know, it's kind of funny to me. Some more things I learned were that there was 4 different types of ecosystem systems. Jeez. In Grand Tetons, there was an alpine ecosystem, which is more of like low growing shrubs. There's a forest ecosystem, which we all know what a forest is, and a meadow and a prairie ecosystem. And my favorite one of all those was definitely alpine, and that's where you start to get like glaciers and stuff. And apparently glaciers are just areas where snow falls more than it uh, melts. So that's kind of cool little fact. I also saw a hairy woodpecker. There were also, well, yeah, I didn't really see. I mean, I've seen the hawks, and I can't really distinguish them though because they're usually soaring really high. So those are kind of tough to point out. But there was lots of sparrows, and I don't know how many different types of sparrows there are, so I'm not gonna try and figure that out. But I've seen lots of sparrows. But yeah, hairy woodpecker. I don't know if I've ever seen one before. I think they're mostly western. But yeah, let's see what else. Oh, one thing that is really tough to do is distinguish flowers. So I do have, thanks to Dakota, I have a wildflower book of the West that I'm going to start to get into more. But after that trip and trying to figure out what flowers I saw later on, I realized that I'm only going to be able to really use that if I take it out for like day hikes, because looking at a flower and then like trying to reimagine it in the book doesn't work out unless I take a photo, and I hate having my phone out while I'm backpacking. So yeah, just day hikes will have to figure out the types of plants. But I know I did see a Wyoming paintbrush. Those were pretty cool. I think they're all red, typically red. I saw dwarf alpine daisy. Those were all over the place. Same with leafy-headed asters. Those were all over the place. And then I was lucky to find in the book blue sailors. I also saw those. and I didn't really think that I saw them till I saw them in the book. I was like, oh yeah, I remember those now. So yeah, it's hard to tell out in the in the park and then looking back in the book if I got it correct or not. But I know I got those right. And if you want to go see the Grand Teton, of course, the road that just hugs the mountain range the whole way is just stupid cool. It's just like it's so cool. I mean, I love looking at the mountains, so that's just an awesome view right there. But like from the points that I hit, Death Canyon Shelf was a really cool overlook, and I was definitely getting into more alpine ecosystem up there because there's like no trees, so you could see for miles, and you were up high too. So that was really sweet. Marion Lake, I know I talked about that, but it's just yeah, dope lake up high in the mountains. And then Phelps Lake, I camped there, and that's an easy one to get to if you have a car that's any year later than 1999. You can get to that one and hike there in like 2 miles. So those are the cool things I saw. There's a lot more things there. I'm in Yellowstone now, and the pair of Yellowstone and Grand Teton is just like there's everything is there. I mean, if you want anything, it's there. I guess you don't get arches and desert, but alpine's kind of like desert, and especially if it's snow, that's considered a desert, right? But yeah, these two parks right next to each other are just like super cool. But yeah, that's the Tetons. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the mountains. I'm gonna keep hitting mountains. But yeah, that's my review for them. Thank you, Tetons, for the wonderful visit. I regret I didn't get to paddleboard on the lakes. That's something I do when it's warmer. But it got down to like 40s at night, and that's probably not a good time to go paddleboarding.